What is the way out of tribalism, and how can that benefit not only you in becoming an individual, but benefit the tribe in you becoming an individual? Jordan Peterson's about to break this down in this clip, and then I'm actually going to expand on it and address it into your direct life. This is episode 1070. Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, absolute great podcast. We're at 1 hour, 29 seconds. Coach Colin, coolest high performance coach in the world. You can check it. And if you want the absolute best insights to the podcasts and videos you love, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it.
What's the way out of tribalism? First, the way out of tribalism is not to never join a tribe. You actually have to join a tribe as you mature, right? Because what happens is, first of all, you're an infant, and then you have your parents to make a relationship with. But then when you move from your parents, you have your tribe, you have your group. Maybe it's the music you listen to, it's the gang you hang around with, whatever. You have to be socialized into the tribe. You have to, because otherwise you stay a dependent infant. Okay, but now you're socialized into the tribe. Well, is that where it ends? It's like, no. The next thing to do is differentiate yourself from the tribe while still knowing how to behave within the tribe. Well, that's the call to individualism. And that's, I think, what the West got right, is we figured that out. It's like, you're more than you have to be a member of a group, because otherwise you're not socialized. You're not good for anyone. You have to be able to play on a team, man. You have to have team loyalty. Okay, but that isn't where you should stop. You should take the next step and become a fully developed individual. And see, the problem with being just a group member is that the group, it's the problem with conservatism. The group is a fixed entity. It has its rules and its regulations, and if you're a member, that's all you are. But the group can go badly wrong, so the group needs individuals to keep the group alive and revivified. So you have to become an individual so you can revivify the group. That's the call in the West to heroism, essentially, to a noble way of living, is to develop yourself past your group identity so that you can reconfigure the game when that becomes necessary. And I think that there's a very influential line of developmental psychology pioneered by Jean Piaget that laid that out as a developmental progression. First you're a child, then you're a member of a group, then you're an individual. It's like, get to the individual level. That's the solution. It's the solution to tribalism. But you have to accept responsibility to do that.
And this is what your future authoring program.
That's so different than what I've talked about, because I always talk about the aspect of, growing and then leaving the tribe because perhaps their way of thinking is holding you back and it's preventing you from becoming that individual. But I never thought of the aspect of the individual actually benefiting that tribe when things go bad. And that is very, very true, because think about it in the most basic sense. Say a family. Like, how many families, maybe you're even a part of one, maybe you've watched one, like your friend's family, but how many families are very unhealthy? They just don't know anything about health. And then one family member, maybe they're all overweight. One family member breaks away. Not necessarily breaks away, but he grows. He becomes an individual and starts losing weight, starts learning about health. I actually have a friend who did this. They start learning about health. They become really healthy. They become really knowledgeable about health. And then, just like Jordan Peterson said, when the tribe, now when things go bad, like let's say there's an ailment in one of the family members, one of the tribe members, now that individual has learned so much from outside the group that they can come back and they can nurse that person into health. And actually, an example of that I have is I had a friend who learned so much about health, got in such good shape, and then had a family member that had cancer, and he didn't know the cure to cancer, but he understood that he was able to look at their diet, this family member, and be like, this needs to change. Like, this stuff needs to change immediately. This is the stuff you need to start doing. And he got really serious about that. And, I won't credit all of it to him because, there's modern day medicine and everything, but that cancer ended up going into remission and it went away. And It was only because he grew so much as an individual and then was able to come back. And like, how many family members, how many people do we know like that? That grow so much in some way, and the tribe fights it. When you first try to become different, the tribe fights it. I have another example, actually. I have and I don't even have to use friends as an example. I can just use it as an example. But let's say your family has a certain way of looking at money. You know, I knew somebody who actually broke away and started thinking about money differently. And then they amassed a lot of money. And then nobody necessarily needed money from the tribe that he was in. But when he came back with all of this knowledge, he was able to help all of them financially. And you know, I'll just talk about it. Like, he was able to retire his parents. He was able to show other family members how to grow their money in a different way. Like, he became so beneficial because he stepped outside the tribe, grew in a certain way that he felt was beneficial, that he felt he was being called to. And then, as Jordan Peterson said, he came back as the hero. So I've always had this talk of like breaking free from the tribe completely, but you don't have to break free completely. You just have to break free enough to become an individual, to be able to stand on your own. And then you can come back and actually benefit the tribe. That was the missing part that I hadn't been talking about. I've always been talking about breaking free and breaking away from negative influences, which you should. But when you become that individual who can stand on their own, you can now come back and benefit those people. Now, if those people are just unwilling to accept help, they do not want to change their ways, anything like that, you know, you're going to have to deal with that as it comes. You know, you make that decision. Do I keep on pounding on this dead horse, or do I leave? Or can I get a defibrillator out and bring this horse back to life? You know, that kind of thing. But this clip definitely changed my thinking on the tribe, because you don't have to abandon the tribe. And that's kind of what I was preaching before. And now I want to change that. You don't have to abandon the tribe, but you have to grow enough in certain knowledge, whatever knowledge that is. You know, some people it's financial, like my example. Some people it's health. Some people it's just straight weight loss. Like, you grow in a certain way enough and then come back and help everybody. You know, it's like a bodhisattva. You ever heard of what a bodhisattva is? Bodhisattva in Buddhist religion is somebody who gets to the point of enlightenment, and instead of walking through that door and experiencing nirvana and transcending, they understand how to attain enlightenment, and they come back into the world of just regular people, and they try to show other people how to attain enlightenment instead of just, you know, moving on. It's kind of the same exact example. Or like, you can even compare it to Jesus. Jesus could have easily just, you know, transcend, you know, whatever you believe, you know what I mean? But like the story of Jesus, like, he could have just transcended and just went back to heaven, went back to God. But instead he was like, I have to show these people what, you know, what love and light looks like. He walked among us and did all the things that he did. It's funny, like, or even Jordan Peterson you can look at. He doesn't have to do what he's doing. He doesn't have to. He can just be a professor. He could have just been a professor and just been like, I'm just going to be tenured and have enough money and be fine, and that's it. But instead, he decided to like take this step, you know, from all the professors, he decided to just be this individual. And now he's grown so much that he can actually help professors who are now coming up. He has helped them, because now the next time a professor wants to stand up and say, I won't do something, there will be this people will understand, like, oh, this guy's doing what Jordan Peterson did. Like, it won't look like the first time this has ever happened. You know, they'll kind of be conditioned to be like, oh, okay, sometimes people stand up and they have their own beliefs. Sometimes professors stand up and they have their own beliefs. You can look at Joe Rogan and actually say the same thing. He does not have to be this type of podcaster. He could have easily just been the type of podcaster that just interviews absolutely famous people. He's been offered to interview Biden, Trump, Obama. He's turned down all of them. He could have just been that guy who just interviews the most famous people in the world and has great conversations and everybody loves the show. But instead it's like, nah, let me talk to a beekeeper. Let me talk to this professor who doesn't want to use pronouns. Let me talk to, like, you know? So grow enough that you can be an individual, that you can stand on your own, that you can have your own knowledge and calling, and then come back to the tribe and be the hero when the tribe needs you. Yeah. All right, I'm out.